can you help me do a little bit of market research for today's Hot Tub Tuesday talk? Because in my research, very scientific, very highest caliber, aka asking random questions and then observing the answers. The general consensus I found is that people fit into one of three categories. So, if you could help me survey your friends. I've surveyed a good amount of people, and the three categories are: what do you identify with? Not in the whole confusing Democratic Party way, but in like a theoretical way, right? Do you identify with being a coconut, manure, or mushroom? So survey your friends, find out what they say, and then if I haven't asked you that question, comment below what it is that you just a gut response, like right now. Don't think about it too much. Just like, and then why? And so and typically people know right off the bat. And what I found is the majority of people say mushroom. And the second most common is manure. And then the third and most rare is the coconut. And I noticed some general themes around the people that identify with being a coconut. And these people, it's like maybe 1% of the people I've asked. But these people, they, in the theoretical or in the metaphorical kind of observation, they got some big nuts. They are the people that they just get what they want and they go after it, and they are dude unashamed. The people that are manure, typically like outdoorsy stuff or gardens and stuff like that. And then the people that would identify with mushrooms, what they would say is that, I just like to give people an experience, I'm healing, and it's all very interesting to me, because in the same regard, the people that identify with the mushrooms are typically the people that like to be fed shit. They like to be kept in the dark and fed shit. And the people that identify with manure typically feel like a piece of crap, and they feel crappy about their lives. And so that's really what we're going to be talking about today, is because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, if you feel like crap about your life, or if you feel like you are a piece of crap, what to do about that. And it is a simple step-by-step process. I've mastered it. I've mastered this process of being a self-identifying manure, because if you feel like crap about yourself, or if you feel like a piece of crap, the odds are it's because you are. And so then some people might say, well, that's a hurtful thing to say. And you're right, it is. But let's break down like what crap is. Like, crap is the byproduct of something that at one point was alive and full of nutrients and goodness, and then that thing then just got chewed up, broke down, digested by something else, some other person or people, and then every ounce of goodness was sucked out of it until it was discarded as waste. And so, again, if you're feeling like a piece of crap, does that description fit your life? Because there's not to be despaired, because it's just what it is. Something that was good and got beat up and broken down and used and then discarded. It's crappy. It's a crappy place to be. I don't like being that way. I don't want to be a piece of crap. So then what do you do if you figured out that you are, in fact, a piece of crap? And you have evidence to look at it. You can point to areas of your life like, well, yep, this is bad. This is bad. I am simply wasted. And this is where I've excelled, because I found myself in this similar place following the pandemic. I found myself being a piece of crap because I had taken on a lot of stuff, and president of multiple boards, nonprofit organizations, and ran $1 million clinic, multiple employees, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in payroll going out. And the reason why everything I did was because I came from a very broken family, and I want to help as many people as possible. So I had these avenues in my life that I was using for service, and the boards that I sat on, I renovated community clubs, I built parks, I did all this stuff in order to have an outcome, which was to help people. And after the whole politically motivated response to pandemic, I realized that a lot of the relationships that I had were simply superficial relationships. And they were so superficial that as soon as a political party told someone to hate another person that wouldn't cover their face with a piece of fabric, those people followed. and pre-pandemic, and maybe, I don't know if you had this similar experience where you thought you had like a deeper relationship until someone told them to think differently, and then all of a sudden their belief systems about who I was changed. Before pandemic, I was Dr. Devin, this health expert, happy, help people, servant to the community, selfless, and that's who I was. But as soon as a political party then said, actually, if he doesn't cover his face, he's actually the opposite of those things. And I realized all these relationships were built on this shit show that was non-foundational. And so I got myself to a point where I had been used up. My health was declining. My mental health was way gone. My blood pressure was through the roof. I was so negative that I would just snap at people and be mean to people around me, because I would react back to them, because I realized that it wasn't real relationships. Because as soon as politics got in place, I realized that they were simply not believing the same things I were. I believe in following Jesus' example, and when politics counter to that, then I don't go along with the politics. And I realized that was a foundational thing that was missing in my relationships. Foundationally, I had a belief system that was to follow the example of Jesus. And even within our own church, our church closed down, masked up, told me if I came to the virtual service, they would call the police and put me in jail. And I had got to the point where I was used up. And by the way, if you're there, it's good. It's really good, because that means that you're the place to elevate and upgrade your life. Because we don't know how valuable we are until all our value has been used. And then you can look and see what someone is willing to pay you for your relationship, in essence, right? Because and this is kind of the problem with having a big corporate job, or having a state-funded job or a government-funded job. You don't actually know what your value is, like, because you're getting paid, but not directly, right? And when you have a business, when you have to sell something, you find out pretty quick, like, how much people value you. Your friends and family will say, "Oh, I'm not giving you money to do something," and you realize like your value is now nothing to them, because by definition, they will not compensate you for what you want to ask for compensation for. So there I was used up, I was broken, I was a piece of crap, I was feeling like crap, I was sick. And so the process of taking that next step, if you no longer want to be a piece of crap, is really easy. You take morning Gwen, you take all the shit in your life, Like, so for me, it was like multiple board of directors that I served on in order to help people be healthier and well-adjusted. That was not serving that mission. Take all the shit, whatever it is, and you put it all together. You quantify it. So like, where you realize that, when I realized like, okay, I am actually worthless in that situation. I'm in charge and I have a lot of responsibilities, but as far as providing value and then getting it in return, it's shitty. It's a shit show. So you take all that shit, put it together, all the reasons. Well, I'm doing this to make the world a better place. Is there evidence to point that I am? No, it's shit. Take it together, put it all together, get this ball right. It's all the shit in your life, and then what you do is you metaphorically throw that ball of shit at a fan. And how do you know you've reached this stage? Because you can literally be like, that shit really hit the fan, okay? And what happens when a ball of shit hits a fan? Shit gets everywhere. It's super messy. Everything is not good, okay? And that's how you know all the things of value that you thought were value that really were not. Shit's everywhere. And I did this, and everyone does this in a certain way. I did it in a pretty significant way because I walked away from my practice. I spent our life savings and we went and lived in the jungles of the Dominican Republic. And what it looks like to everybody else is everything falling apart, because that's what it is. Because that shit just sprays everywhere, thins it out, and then it settles. And so now this is where it gets a little more complicated, because everyone that's part of your shit show now wants to help you clean the shit up, make it look nice again. And they're gonna want to do it because they're like, I got shit on me, I don't like this. Let's clean it up. Let's get it back together. Make it look nice for everybody else. Get it back together. Get that ball of shit together. And then everyone's like, everything's good now, okay? But still, you still are just a piece of crap at that point, okay? So this, and people are gonna want to help you because they're like, I see what you did. You threw it at the fan. You probably didn't know what you were doing when you did that. and we're gonna clean it up, help you clean it up with you. We're gonna pretend like everything's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Nope. You gotta remember this. They want to clean it up, and it seems helpful at the time, right? Like, let's do this. But if you instead clean up the shit, let it break down, let it continue to break down. And so, I've talked ad nauseum on different ways to physically tap into the neuroanatomy that allows adaptation to occur, and how to let things break down neurologically, because they are, all that shit shows that we keep together is all just little patterns within our brains of perceived importance that then inhibit the healing process, which is why you just get digested and crapped on. So break it down, and the easiest way to then break it down is to hang around with people that are coconuts, okay? And if you can just ask people the question, don't give them the preface, don't tell this whole thing, like just ask them, like gut response, what are you? Because coconuts, they will grow in the harshest conditions. One coconut can withstand hurricanes, can withstand droughts. I mean, they're so valuable in the Dominican Republic that you can't cut them down. It's against the law. These palm trees, these coconut trees. And coconuts, they will survive in, like barren areas. This is a coconut. You know a coconut when they say it. And if you can surround yourself with coconuts, then what happens as you break down, and by the way, like when you take all the things that have sucked the life out of you and used you, and you throw them against the fan and they all just dissipate, that feels not good. So that breakdown process of realization of like, I've been a piece of crap, I've invested things that are crappy, there's been no fruit for them. It is a difficult process for a lot of people to go through, because our reptilian side of our brain wants to protect what we have, protect our identity, protect that we look smart and responsible. But facing what is shitty in life and letting it break down feels like breaking down. But if you can be around coconuts, as you break down, what the coconuts will naturally do, so the coconuts of your life will do, is they will then have opportunities for you to help them grow. Coconuts. Okay, again, this goes very specific because this is where it gets a little tricky. Mushrooms, they'll take your crap and they'll feed it back to you, right? It's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Oh, you know, everyone does this. So what? You're deeply unhappy and unhealthy, and your body's slowly killing yourself. Everyone does that, right? Let's just have a good time right now. That's what mushrooms do. Mushrooms want to be fed shit and kept in the dark. So you got to really distinguish, because the mushrooms will take your shit all day long, right? But coconuts will grow. And coconuts grow up. And coconuts are so resilient, coconut trees are so resilient, not even termites, the thing that destroyed everybody, everything, every tree, can't touch a coconut tree. So then, as you, and even if you can just meet one coconut, and that's the thing again, they're not common, meet one coconut, strengthen that coconut, you become part of that coconut's growing process. Coconuts then drop their coconuts, and then you have the opportunity to grow into a coconut tree yourself. In essence, this simple conversation could redirect every single mental health condition that has been labeled and profited from pharmaceuticals. Of simply identifying that, yes, you are a piece of crap. Yes, people have used you, they've sucked everything good out of you, and they have discarded you. Everything that is that identity, throw it against the fan, spread it out, let it break down, and then help somebody who is growing up and more resilient grow. And one coconut tree is strong, but like a cluster of coconuts, it's like unstoppable. So, homework assignment for the day. Not super neuroanatomy deep today, more superficial level. But if I could, just ask whoever sees this, survey the people around you, find out who the coconuts are. Don't give them the preface, don't give them the whole metaphor, just find out who the coconuts are. People's gut responses to that question, I kind of guessed who they would be anyways, but it was interesting to see that deep down inside they knew it also. And then message me their names so I can be friends with them. Because I am in the breakdown portion of the becoming less of a piece of crap. So I want some coconut trees around me that can help grow. Because the other benefit is, when you got coconuts around you, that ground is stable. Everything around you is protected. And they grow stronger together. Okay, hot topic of the day. I look forward to just some kind of expansion of my research. Thanks for listening. And if I can get the button to work, I will turn it off. That's a metaphor for life, isn't it? It's like basic science, basic things I have a difficult time with. There we go. It just makes me realize I need to get people around me that can have more technological sense than I do.